Hello, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this is another session of our Blades in the Dark game. We're using a city that we built, a notable island city on the edge of the island. The island expands outwards. There's a ruins in the center of it. It has weird stuff going on. Our city itself, uh, densely packed with favelas, rope bridges across uh, a strange shower that happens every day in the couple of hours before dawn, and then it moves to tropical during the day. So last time, our group managed to get their heat up to an absurd level, and then spend a great deal of time getting their heat down to a much more reasonable level. They were able to engineer two jobs together and successfully complete both. And as a result, they managed to get an advancement for their gang. Now, if we want to look here on the crew sheet, I say gang, it's crew. I always, Blades in Dark is one of those games I never get the terminology right on. I never, skills, actions, abilities. So we are here. You have right now the bonus to your action rating ability. You have the expert healer cohort. You have quality documents. You have a workshop. You also have the thief rigging as another thing there. So what you can choose now is there are the things that are off to the side, like the layer, the quality gear, the training. And I have put down below, and this starts at row 49, the generic list of crew special abilities. This is a big list, but is useful for people who've played Blades quite a bit and maybe have some thoughts about what would be particularly useful for the group. And so let me ask, and we're also 2 ticks into the next crew, or 3 ticks into the next crew things, I think. So Electra, any thoughts, maybe a couple of things that you think would be interesting, worth pursuing for the gang?
I generally like early advances to be ones that are broadly useful. Um, there are, I don't know if it's on this list, but there is the one like where you do teamwork, you get to count multiple sixes um, from different characters. Oh yeah, I found it. Yeah, it's on row 63. When you perform a group action, you may count multiple sixes from different rolls as a critical success, which I think is fun. But I'm pretty open.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, that is a very strong one. Like it's a strong one, and it encourages a certain kind of play, and it is useful in that. Um, uh, Halen, any thoughts that you might have about what would be, does that sound appealing, or do you have a couple of other things or another thing that you think would be good?
Well, it's particularly early on, and this probably goes back to playing computer games. I tend to look at the things that are not going to be useful or as useful later on, like on line 58, when it says when you advance your tier, it costs half the coin it normally would. And that's something that is going to be less useful as we increase in level. Same thing with being able to add 2 points instead of 1 when you train during downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
So group role, the reduced coin cost, or training.
yeah, one of those three. I'm fine
Okay.
with any of them.
Sabine?
I am not an experienced player, so I will yield to the expert opinion of my two cohorts. I like the idea of gaining a tier with half a coin. I think we could almost swing that. So then we would have that in our pocket. But I also like the double sixes. That would give us a crit. But that would be more useful, I think, with a larger crew than 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
if you have 4 people, then it's more likely than with 3. So I'd swing towards the tier thingy, but yeah.
Yeah, the reduced cost to increase tier is likely to be like after the next job. Most likely we'll be able, because we're right on the cusp of having enough red.
Let's
That's
go with that.
Yeah.
Put that in. I'll type that into this
That
thing here.
means we have a patron, so we should choose who that is, right?
I mean, I like that actually as an idea. That we have acquired now a patron who thinks that we are maybe maybe on the right path or something.
Yeah. So what kind of, you have a friend who's kind of in the nobility, who's kind of an informant from the civil structure. I believe we have a friend of the autarch's child. We have that as a contact. So what kind of class or group or society do you imagine that this patron should be from? I'll come back to you, Anders, because I had forgotten about it being a patron.
I feel like a natural thing at this point would be someone who likes that we took out this guy who was supposed to take over the honorable here, which could be someone who's sympathetic to what we're doing, or someone who just thinks, yeah, that was a good thing to do. Let's keep like it. It can be interesting to have a patron who doesn't have like the exact same goals. But I'm not sure. I don't have an obvious idea.
Do you want a kind of normal patron, or do you want a weirder patron? What are you saying, Subi? I see your lips moving, but
I'm whispering weird. Please make it weird.
Then let's do this thing. This comes a couple of days after the operation, after like you've spent a good long coordinated time talking to people, pointing to scapegoats, getting that heat down for yourselves, because you did have some dangerous stuff from those entanglements last time that you managed to spend some coin to walk away from. And you will arrive at your tower, and there is a woman, Sabine. She's wearing the outfit of those Ziggaraut mages, those mages that are creating. What is distinctive about their outfit?
I think it tries to emulate the angles of a cigarette. Like it's not like super firm, but you know, the shoulders are a little padded and the elbows have these little epaulets on it and stuff like that. So it's like if they stand correctly and the light hits them exactly the right way, they can throw the shadow of a cigarette. They have to do a little dance, not a dance, but they have to move to achieve this effort, but it can be achieved by the way they're closed.
Awesome. Very 1980s mage's robes. Those sharp angles, such. And she's there, kind of looking around the place and, you know, play a little cautious with mages generally. But which of you is the first to address her? Long,
I'm
quiet
hiding
pause.
behind the social people.
Okay.
Well, if no one else steps up, then I guess I will. So sorry, what was, did they show up at our
Yeah, you
hideout?
you arrived because none of you sleep there
Yeah,
because there's
yeah.
no place to sleep. So you've kind of returned in the morning, and they are kind of seated up in your mission room by themselves, clearly waiting for you.
Oh, hello there. I don't think we were expecting company.
I am sorry to drop in on you kind of unannounced. And you'll note that when she talks, there's this thing where she starts out on a certain note of her speech and it goes up. Like she walks up the chords as she talks each time. I'm not going to do it, but I want you to imagine that there's a rhythmic sing-song. She will say, I am the 100th Peel. That's Peel as in bell. You may call me 100 or you may call me Peel, whichever you wish. I happen to understand that, and full deniability on this, that you may have had a hand in the changes that were rung recently regarding the honorable and positions of power. Does that seem like a reasonable thing for me to say?
Electra does not look at her companions here. Absolutely not. She thinks she just says, whether or not we had anything to do with it, we are not unhappy with the outcome.
And neither am I. So my company has had some problems, particularly some public relations problems and so on, a perception of us in perhaps a negative way. And it has behooved us to make friends with groups, especially groups who, when the time comes for the revolution, are going to be there at the barricades. We understand that upheaval, revolution, change is inevitable. We see things in a larger span. So I would like to offer you, not as a offer from my faction in general, but as an offer from me in particular, some assistance, ways of smoothing the path for you forward. Basically, it would please me if you were to get stronger, better, and with more influence.
Would the rest of the people in your company feel similarly?
We are, as with any large organization, divided in approaches. There are others who would be sympathetic to the path that I am charting, and some that would not be. But I tend to prepare. I I do not simply build, I also storehouse. And I consider assisting you an investment towards the future. Perhaps when fires are raging through the streets and doors are being kicked down, you will save my life at that point. That would be a good thing if that were to be a future that were to come. Or perhaps if you get in a pinch, I can assist you on leveraging some things. I offer this without any immediate request for payback. I wish to, since I know, and it kind of gestures at you, Electra, but not you, Kaylin, because you kind of have your secret identity. Says, I understand you have a sense of the legalisms of this. So what I offer you is my assistance. And should I make a demand on you that you do not wish to fulfill, then we will simply end the arrangement at that point. And we will not consider anything going backwards from there. In other words, when you make that choice, if I put you in a moral quandary, I will not pressure you to say, look at all I've done for you in the past, because that is the past. We always move forward. Do you think that's an arrangement that your company could get behind?
I think like if in a normal situation, they would do the standard like, oh, we need to discuss this,
Right.
yada yada yada. I think just as a more fun choice, Sigil is just going to say, yes, I think that would be a viable arrangement for us.
Excellent. I am going to give you a copper pass. Should you need to contact me about something immediate, one of your company can come to the build site and present that, and someone will come and get me. But otherwise, we'll work by the pneumatubes. Here is my address that you can have things sent to. Well then, I am looking forward to working with all of you, and I will now excuse myself. And when she's gone, there is this, she clearly has no care about magic because she throws it immediately. The air kind of riffs, and then there's that pop as she teleports away, and it fills that, and it actually shakes the room.
Should we have offered her a cup of tea?
I'm fairly certain that she can get better tea at the Ziggaraut than she can get.
Yeah, sure, but just point of politeness, from what I know about mages, they always love drinking tea.
Some do.
The weirder, the better.
So let me come around. I want to kind of do a check-in on our sort of daily live situation, goals, and so on. Electra, start with you. You have this situation with that prisoner that you're hoping to get free.
Mm-hmm.
But also, of course, there was that thing you heard about, that weird noble who was poking around. I know by the name of Observer Felindar. Or is there something else that we want to do a scene of your character interacting with an NPC, or setting something up for yourself? What do we want to see here?
think since I got I took an advance last session, a new ability, could be interesting to do something related to that.
And remind us, what did you, the abilities that you took?
Yeah, I took on company dime, which means I can use an extra downtime action to acquire an asset as an official representative of your employer. So I think this is like she has worked to get some extra responsibilities and
So yeah, you have filed some of the paperwork on that, and you are called into your boss's office, and they're like, Nesbit, good to see you. Really, really top-notch work recently in the Department of Internal Affairs. Really solid. Your work has been noted by a number of people. Would you be willing to take on some additional logistics responsibilities?
of course I'd be happy to.
Yeah, that will move your classification up from drone cadre 3 up to drone cadre 2, with, of course, a commensurate increase in discretionary funds and authority.
I would be happy to do what I can to make things work smoothly.
I do have one question for you,
Of course.
Nesbit. Where do you see yourself in 3 years?
Well, I have my immediate plans are to, of course, develop this additional responsibility and see if I can find ways to improve our management of resources and perhaps take on greater responsibilities in handling the affairs of the department. With but I and if the opportunity arises, I would not be adverse to taking on a managerial role.
I'm going to stop you there because you hit the buzzword quota for what we needed for you to answer that question. Thank you. And in a short amount of time. So very much appreciated. Oh, here is a fruit basket. So enjoy.
Oh, thank you.
Pretty much
that's very generous.
Just a basket of tangerines. No other fruit. What is the change to your office or workspace that we see there? Do you get a more private office, or do they change your desk around? How do your fellow Drone Cadre 3 people know or react to this?
I think we said that I was like staying in the back of a storage room, and I think I'm still there because I haven't improved my living conditions, but I have a desk there now, so it's more like it's not just a place where I'm sleeping on a bunch of sacks on the floor. I also have it's also my workstation.
Absolutely. And I think you'll quickly realize the kinds of access that you now have, and how easy it would be for things to fall off the back of the lorry, as it were. For Stitch, what do we want to see for you? What are you doing? I know last time you had some good encounters, made some friends as you were doing your downtime. Do we want to do that? Do we want to do something based on ability? We've also got your friends and your rivals. What do you think?
I actually I improved one of my my skills.
Oh, okay.
I improved Tinker, and we
Oh,
have a workspace. So I'm thinking that I think that I can prepare maybe or repair some not too complicated stuff because I don't want to put myself out there too much, but you know, word gets around so that I can repair things that might be a little bit more complicated than just banging them with a hammer. So I'm trying to do that because I need to earn money because that's not something revolutionarying gives you, and I
yeah.
need to
I,
eat.
I think people will be like in that local area that the friends that you kind of hung with and so on, they will be pleased to have someone who asks a modest fee for, you know, sharpening of knives, repairing of pots and pans, fixing minor machines. Uh, I do think there is, after you've done this for a little bit, there is one of the folks from there, an older gentleman, uh, who will kind of come and sit down as after you've been talking to some people and some people have handed you some things to repair. He will sit down and say, uh, uh, I'm Torgan. Uh, People know me, kind of a fixer in this area. Um, I appreciate what you've been doing. You've helped some people out who've been kind of stuck out, haven't had the money. Um, and that's great. But I do want to give you a heads up you may already be aware of. Uh, the Order of the Cog, the Masters of the Cog, they don't take very kindly to tinkers, freelance non-guild tinkers operating in their area.
Um, yeah, I was afraid of something like that coming
Yeah.
my way. Um,
Yeah, because I used to do repairs, like you in my younger days.
hmm.
And he'll hold up the stump of one of his
Oh,
arms. So I would really hate for anything to happen to you, though it strikes me, and I mean this by no offense, that you can probably handle yourself a little bit better than I could when I was 18.
I can handle myself quite well, but I don't want to make that kind of enemies. I know that it's rather easy to rile people up against me.
You just want to, like, if you stay working in this area, I don't think anybody will say anything against you. No one would tell or say a word. So, like, you look out for us and we'll look out for you.
I appreciate the warning, but maybe I'll just go and see what it would take for me to join that guild, but then probably I will have to charge higher prices, which is not something I would want to do. I'll figure something out.
Okay, well, take it easy. If you need any help with anything, uh, Torgan is my
Yeah,
name. Just
yeah.
just come and get me.
Thank you, Torgan. You can call me Vaughn, I guess.
Oh,
Mr. Vaughn,
Mr.
if you
Vaughn.
if you want, or just Stitch. I don't know.
You have an odd accent. Where are you
Yeah.
from?
Um, all around, I
Oh,
think.
well, understood. Traveler, like one of the ship folk.
And I was made in one of the outlying islands.
All right. You see him kind of parse that for a second, think that you're using another term for being born, and you go, "Oh, okay, All right. Oh, just curious. No problem. All right. And he will bow and leave you.
And I will give him a little awkward wave as he goes, because I really liked that he was nice to me. But yeah. And now I have a problem, but I have friends that I can talk that over with, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, it's not like, oh, it is like the Masters of the Cog already have a -1 status towards your group.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Let me come to Halen. Halen, what scene do you want to call? Last time you were with us, you were part of that operation that we got very loud very quickly. And there was the fact that one of the people from that gang, from the Rain Brothers, did see you.
Yep.
And kind of maybe recognize you a bit.
And that's why the next morning I marched into the office of the monopolists and offered to represent them in the matter of the Rain Brothers, who had failed to deliver the leader that they were supposed to, and well, made a terrible mess of doing so. Because honestly, who on earth would suspect that a lawyer would also somehow be throwing firebombs in the middle of an operation like that? That's just an absurd concept.
Absolutely. That does seem wild. And I think it is maybe a day or two after that, after they've asked you to file a writ of demand against the Rain Brothers, that you will be working, and your friend Vale, and remind me, Vale, male, female?
Oh, that's a heck of a good question. Vale, let's say they, them for the moment.
Okay. So Vale will sit down as you are. I imagine that there's the like the inns that they have for the lawyers and barristers and so on, and you are there in between appearances, and they will settle themselves down and they will say, "So I heard an ugly little rumor.
Oh,
So I heard that someone who has a generally positive reputation for helping out uh, the underserved
yes.
went in and went to the fat cats up at the monopolists and solicited for a job."
Vale, that sounds an awful lot like you might want to ask a question or two.
It is. It is, in fact, that thing exactly. That very thing precisely. So, if I may, on the record, Miss Bella, uh, have you taken employ with the monopolist? And is this something that you sought out?
Vale, can we speak on background for a moment?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So this is off the record.
Yes. No names.
You are absolutely correct in that I am someone who stands up for people whenever I possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
If the union leader had been apprehended, I would have been writing writs of habeas corpus. The union leader was not apprehended.
Yes, yes, an unusual. The details that I'm getting is that there was another gang that had disguised themselves as the proper representatives and showed up and caused chaos in the Rain Brothers HQ.
And if I knew anything about that,
Mm-hmm.
frankly, your sources are probably better than mine on this. But it's my understanding that there was an explosion.
That is certainly my understanding, given the nature of the distillery that they were operating over.
My interest here
Mm-hmm.
is not in representing the monopolists, but in holding the Rain brothers to account for the danger that they exposed those citizens to. The monopolists are just a lever to do that.
Interesting, interesting. All right. I'll let that sit there. That seems a reasonable story. And between friends, I'll put that in my back pocket, shall I?
If you please.
Excellent. Just keep that generosity on my part, because I am generous. In mind the next time I come to you for some help.
I always do.
Excellent. I paid your
Oh,
tab.
and Vale,
Mm-hmm.
do you happen to know anybody who needs a little assistance right now? I find myself with a little more money than I'm used to, and a little bit more time to spare on pro bono work than I usually have.
Well, I would have said Parmetha Collins, but their case is already closed.
Let me see.
But I'll keep my eyes open.
Please do. And Vale,
Mm-hmm.
don't forget to get yourself a drink.
I never drink when I'm on duty.
I thought journalists always drank.
I am the one that breaks the mold.
Very well.
So what I'd like to do is throw out some things that are going on, kind of generally, some bits that we can do scenes for gather info or checking on, following up, just some things that may or may not lead into jobs. One of the things that we talked about last time was the fact that this noble who's kind of in a supervisory position by the name of Observer Fellingar has been seen with some papers, some notebooks and things, and a couple of people had been going around to the different favelas and uncertain what he's doing, what he's saying, what he's auditing, but it can't be anything good. It definitely seems odd. The person I just mentioned a second ago is someone from one of the higher placed elite families. His name is Parmetha Collins. He, you recall, a few weeks ago there was that spill that caused so much kind of caustic damage coming off of the mills. He was very upset by that. Got in, essentially to the symposium of nobles, made a big stink, caused a bunch of problems, very kind of tactlessly made a lot of noise. And last week he got picked up for sedition. And there was a quick trial, and he has been tossed into prison. It is a state crime, so it's a closed trial that occurred. And right now his family is kind of in a bad position as a result of that. Things may get worse for them. I'll leave that out there. There has been another one of these strangulation murders. Again, we mentioned that in the very first session. That there is someone going around using a ligature to kill on the streets down there amongst the lower classes, with a kind of sadistic bent to their killings. And so that's another question that's out there. And you would have heard that there was a person kind of poking around, like clearly didn't know exactly who your group was, so not part of the revolutionary cycles, the circles there, but you know, somebody who maybe is a little bit louder than they need to be in looking for you, suggesting some inexperience with that, that they had they needed your help potentially for something, and that person only gave the name Pizik. So that's our sort of fourth thing that is out there. So I come back to you, Electra. One of these things you want to look at, your own personal backpot you want to look at, what do you want to do?
I think I'll look into this observer Fellingar.
Okay. What's your tactic for finding out about him? Is it going on the street and observing him? Is it talking to people? What do we want to see here?
Yeah. I think both, like watching them on the street, but also like when I see them, because they are nobility and kind of stand out. That's an excuse to talk to people about who's that, what are they doing, have you heard anything, that sort of thing.
Okay. So do you want
probably
to...
focusing more on talking to people than direct observation, but
Okay.
like
So
hanging around to
that feels like, do you want to do that by as consort or survey?
Let me check my dot. Well, I'm actually better at survey, so I guess I'll do that.
Okay. So let's have
I
you...
think like watching them and then talking to other people to get like extra information, but mainly watching them.
Yeah. Let's have you make that roll there.
Yeah, I think I'll just roll my 2 dice. That's a 6.
So that is a 6. So it definitely looks to you like he is mapping some things out. And the impression that you have is that he's sketching out how some areas might be reclaimed by knocking down hovels and building there. And he's kind of doing that kind of assessment. But he's doing it, he himself is not very subtle. So like you can tell he's actually upsetting people in the area when he's doing that. But the thing that strikes you that you will see since you use survey is he has like a team of people, like a 3-person team that are clearly not in his employ, that are shadowing and watching him. And they're professional enough that they change outfits, they swap out, that kind of thing, and they're definitely keeping him under observation. And so with a 6, I'll give you a follow-up question.
So do they seem to be just following him around and watching what he's doing? Or do they seem to be are they like taking notes? Are they doing something like when he's left an area? Do they do something there, or
what they seem to be doing in a careful way is they are observing him, but then when he leaves the area, spending a little bit of time observing there, and they seem to be taking note of who seems pissed about Fellingar being there, like who gets agitated and upset and angry about it. They are making a list. Does that seem like a fair answer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Stitch, what do you want to do?
Remind me what Pizik was trying to hire people for.
He clearly knows something about your group, but not a lot, and the nature of the job wasn't spelled out, but he's clearly been trying to arrange a meet with someone from your group.
I think I might try to can I do that? Let me check my dots. I'm not good at prowling, so well, I think I'll still try to figure out what exactly is going on here, what he wants us to do, because I mean, he's trying to hire us. He has to have maybe I can just talk to him.
Want to meet with him then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that, you'll talk to one of your street informants. They will get a message to Pizik, and there will be a meet arranged between you and him.
In the rain.
In the rain, that early morning hour, kind of out by one of the major pneumatic tube junctions that goes off in all kinds of directions. It gives a little bit of cover from the rain. And do you arrive early? Do you arrive on time? Do you arrive late?
I arrive early, and then I guess I'm not very good at that, but I will lurk about.
Okay.
I mean, I've got a hood up, and I'm not very easy to overlook, but still going to lurk about. I don't know what happens.
You will, after waiting there for a bit. Pizik is actually late. Small fellow who shows up. I think the thing that will strike you immediately as he's coming up towards you is, remember that person that you made eye contact with? The weird one who you think was from the Eternal?
The Mr. Eternal was his name, right? That's what he called himself. Mr. Goose. Mr. Goose.
Mr. Goose. You're getting something of the same vibe off of this person, off of Pizik, as he approaches. But he doesn't have that same reaction to you. Like, he clearly doesn't clock you as being something unusual. And he comes up. He is he is bundled up. You can see he's got 4 or 5 coats on. And he's still not very big, even with those. But he will approach and he will say, are you from the revolutionary group?
I'm Stitch. I'm here because you asked about them.
Yeah. So I have it to understand that you're good, you and your people are good at getting in the middle of things.
Yeah, I mean, that seems a fair assessment, yes.
So we have we have a person who is highly placed, who we think is going to be a problem in the future. He's a senior person among the mage tracers. And he kind of has the ear of some people in the autarchs circle. And we think that's going to be bad. Because he's kind of pushing for more radical sweeps, looking for mages and magic invested folk. Not that I know any of them.
Well, seems like they might not like that.
Yeah. Well, we would, it's not something that we can do, but we could put some coin towards reimbursing someone who managed to discredit this person. We can provide some details about their activities, how they interact with the autarch and such, but basically something such that they lose the autarch's beneficence, favor, approval.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Give me the name of this person and I'll convey it to the people who make the decisions. Which might be me, but I'm not telling him that.
His name is Madhav Mateo. And you will know that name. Like, he's he used to be on the ground as a mage tracer, but he's moved up into administration and kind of runs a desk and is notorious for kind of pushing for more like active cracking down on mages.
Yeah, and magical creatures.
Apparently so.
Yeah, no, don't like that. Okay.
Yeah. And Pizik says, well, I'll give you a drop box for the Pneuma tube if you want to send us like another meetup time. Is that okay? Okay.
Yes.
They'll give you an address. All right. So that's how this works. Are we all done?
I think so, yes.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never done this before.
Unless you wanted to do a secret handshake or something like that.
Are there secret handshakes?
Of course, there are secret handshakes.
I don't know any secret handshakes.
You just make them up. Yeah, I'll envelop his hand in mine because he's such a small guy, right? And then I'll swirl it around a little and.
Okay. Okay. I'll remember that for next time. That way, when we do that, you'll know it's me and not like an evil doppelganger.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And also you might know that it's one of the people who are trying to contact.
Okay.
Point of the secret handshake, right?
This is clever. I never thought of that.
Mm.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And he will head off. Let's take our first break.
What a cute guy.
We'll come back with Halen. Let's come back at 5 after, since it's about
Yep.
58.
Cool.
We'll do that.
Nice.
So Halen, what is it that you would like to do? What would you like you to look into, check on?
I would like to look into the family of the most recent strangulation murder victim.
Okay.
Not look into them per se, but visit with them, because I want to look into these murders, because this is the stuff that I want to do when night falls. And it'll be a lot easier to do that with the consent of the victim's family.
Sure. What do you want to do in terms of the action roll you want to roll for this gather information?
Oh, it's just gonna be a simple social roll.
Okay. So consort or sway?
I'd really like to say something that I'm not rolling flat in, but sure. Yeah,
Okay.
that makes more sense.
Yeah, unless you want to play really a bad cop on them and use command.
No, because, they've suffered a terrible loss.
So let's have you roll 2d6. That's 6 and a 3. So I think that you end up having to go back a couple of victims.
Right.
The first few families are still kind of in that stages of grief, and so on. And even when you get into that sort of third group, they're very hesitant to say anything. They clearly had a bad experience so far with the honorable, and they've had various charlatans come and try and prey on them and stuff. And it's clear that there's sort of a general feeling that maybe these people got what they deserve. Like there's a weird set of rumors swirling around. But they do talk to you, and I think that you don't get much until the very end, when kind of as you're leaving, the like a younger sister of the victim will kind of catch you as you go out and will say, is there any way, is there anything that you can do to get the body for us? It's been 3 weeks. And I know what it must be like now, but we would like to deal with his body. The body is the prison of the soul. We would like to be able to deal the proper rites so that his soul can pass on, but they haven't given it to us.
How old is the sister?
Let's say 16.
Okay. I'm going to take a knee so I can look her close to it in the eye. Do you know where the body was taken?
The honorable took it, but every time we've asked about things, we've gotten the runaround.
Let's see. I'll do what I can, and I will do it as quickly as possible. Bodies should not be imprisoned after death. That must be hell.
his soul is suffering. Yeah.
I will tell you what I find out. Or I will bring you his body if I can, or have it delivered to you, and if I cannot, I will tell you what I have found out and why.
Thank you. Thank you. That is as much as we can ask. And just to kind of finish that off, to kind of tell you, you know that that is very unusual.
Yeah.
That either the body should have been returned or it should have been disposed of and some kind of paperwork given to the family, some kind of token. You know, if there are known living relatives, the honorable have a complex that is attached to the salinate, to the prison, that is kind of the mortuary for those kinds of things. But they don't keep people there very long unless they're like very important high level people.
Right.
Does that seem
Which
reasonable?
this person is not. So
No.
okay. Yeah, that's reasonable.
All right. Electra, let me come back to you.
Yeah. I think I want to shadow this group that was following Observer Falcon.
Okay.
See where they go back to, who they seem to be hanging out with, who they're working for, if possible.
All right. Does that feel like prowl or hunt?
Ooh. Yeah. Let me read. Think I'll go for prowl because I think my main focus is to not be noticed.
Okay.
Um,
Then roll me a die,
yeah.
unless you want to push yourself.
I just rolled the one.
Okay.
It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. It's a 6. So
6.
it's fine.
It is fine. I think you probably take a couple of days of your off time kind of following around. I think one of the things you will kind of also get the sense of is maybe Fellingar is a little nervous. Like maybe he has the sense that he's being watched. He's not stupid about being down in here. So he is not completely naive or oblivious to this. But I think you will follow them for a while. Eventually, Fellingar turns in for the day, and these three split up, go in different directions. You have to kind of pick one to follow and track them through. And they do spend a significant amount of time dropping any potential traces, any potential people shadowing them. But you're good. You know the city. You know the city better than they do. And I think that will become clear why when the one that you're following very late at night shows up at the back door of the embassy of the Blue Heath, the recently arrived embassy that is set up for trade relations and stuff. And they go to the back, they give a passcode, and they are let in very clearly. And I think you hang for another hour, and you will see another one of them, one of the ones that you didn't follow, also shows up. You know, clothes changed, all that kind of stuff, and it's pretty clear. Like this this is where they come from. And with a 6, I'll give you a follow-up.
Cool. Oh. When they show up there, because they've changed clothes and that sort of thing, do they look, or actually, no, sorry, I'll ask something about the person I'm following when I'm like observing them. Do they seem like they're mercenary, or are they are they do they seem capable of violence, or are they just someone who's gathering information? Like, what's their bearing? That sort of general impression.
I think there is on the trip back, they do stop off after having changed, and they stop off at a high-end tavern, and they go in, and you get a chance to kind of see them in what's clearly closer to their real identity, and they are a haughty, clever, dangerous spy.
And if they're stopping off at a high-end tavern, they seem to be fairly well financed as well, too. Cool. So it seems like a natural conclusion is that the Blue Heath is gathering information on what's upsetting people.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think like you've seen this person's face in a couple of different disguises and things like that. And I think you have pretty good sense of, if you were to see them again, you'll be able to spot them out. Okay.
Cool.
Stitch.
We've talked about the things that we've heard from the others, right? So I know that.
Yeah, I assume so. Yeah.
I know about these missing corpses, right?
Halen?
I am absolutely sharing information.
Because you know what you need to make a person like me? Parts. So that is the thing that maybe I'm totally wrong and off the scent here, but that I mean that might be right. That might be possible that somebody wants to make someone like me. And I know a guy who's really, really interested in the way I've been made. So maybe I'll go and talk to Dr. Sawbones.
Okay.
If he's heard anything about this influx of strength, because strangling people is a very good way to preserve the corpse, right?
It absolutely is.
Yeah. So
now, Sawtooth is not a friend of yours.
No, he's not. But he wants something from me.
So tell me how that, Sawtooth is a guy. Actually, do we have?
That's a picture.
Yeah, a guy. Yeah. A guy who has, an underground research basement. That, where that is. So what is your showing up look like? I mean, is it a little more aggressive? Is it a showing up hands, open? Like, what does that look like?
I think that that is not a person who thinks that I am a person. So I don't think I'll try to be particularly nice to him. I want information. So yeah, no, I'll think I'll lurk. I really need to learn plural, right? I think I'll lurk around until he comes home, maybe, and then I'll come out from the place where I'm lurking at and say, Dr. Sawbone, I have a question.
I think this is command, because
Yes.
command is used to intimidate.
Yes.
Do you want to push yourself, or let me see if I can think of a devil's bargain here. Uh, I'll give you another die to say that Sawbones, maybe part of the reason that you know them is they have an indirect relationship with the doctor from your crew.
Mhm.
And by kind of
Oh.
kicking in on this, it's going to make that relationship between your doctor and Sawbones more tense, and like maybe put them in the crosshairs a little.
Okay, I think Stitch did not think of that precisely because, well,
Yeah, that
yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah. So roll me 2
Mhm.
dice then.
Yeah, that goes.
Oh,
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
he's clearly been out, maybe had a couple of drinks, so he's a little unaware, and so he does, immediately flatten himself back against the wall, and then he sees it's you, and he like realizes that he can't go for any of his gear or anything like that. He is in a very bad position. He's like, "What do you want?"
Yeah, I have a question, as I said. You're a physiker and you deal with people like those who made me, right? And don't say no. I know that's you told me yourself. So
Go on.
there's bodies missing, very well preserved bodies from what I hear. I was wondering, and I put my hand next to him on the wall, not hurting him or anything, but like, yeah, I'm leaning in a little bit too closely, maybe. You heard anything about that?
Look, I get my materials through reputable sources, resurrection men, the ones who work with the schools and such that bring things out. But I have heard that there are relatively recent newcomers who don't have that kind of network, because it takes a while to build up trust with those people. You have to be reputable and well liked, like me, to get in with them, and they haven't been here long enough for that.
They seem
And
to be working with the honorable, though.
that I don't know, but I do know that they were asking around about acquisitions, and because they were newcomers and foreigners, they were not getting anywhere with that. I talked to one of them, but I didn't like them. They made me queasy, but they dropped your name.
Which one?
Circuitor?
Oh, it's not widely known.
Yes, I wondered about that. They put me off enough, but I was thinking of looking them up, maybe trying to find them, especially if they knew something about your origins, about who made you.
So where would I find these fine specimens of humankind?
They found me.
Hmm.
If I were to want to go and hunt them down, I would start talking to the various black market folks, those who sell and deal on the margins, and find out who has been asking to buy. That's how I would track them back. Stitch.
Well, Dr. Savans, pleasure talking to you.
You sure you don't want to come in for a drink?
And would I leave with all of the body parts I have now if I did?
I don't guarantee that for anyone who comes to visit me.
And you wonder why you don't have that many patients. I think I'll pass.
All right. Well, if I happen to run into them, I'll tell them you're looking for them.
You don't need to go that far.
And he will.
I actually would prefer it if you didn't.
And I think with your 6, like, yeah, that you put that emphasis on that last bit and you see him kind of rethink being shitty to you and go, understood. We'll keep up our working relationship.
I didn't know we had one, but okay.
And he will quickly, run into his bolt hole house basement to lock it and secure it against you. Not that it would help.
I'll take care. I take care that I really stomp and I walk away. I don't need to make that much noise, but
Perfect. Halen.
Yes.
What do you want to do next?
Well, Sabine, would Stitch have told me this stuff as soon as Stitch got the information?
Sure.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out which sounds like the more interesting option.
Okay.
Surveilling the Honorable's morgue, for lack of a better term, or hunting down black market body part dealers. And honestly, I think hunting down black market body part dealers sounds a little bit more fun.
Okay.
Because, that means I can run across the roof at night.
Absolutely. So I'm hearing hunt.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna hunt some dealers.
Okay. Then let's have you make that roll.
So my hunt is 2. Sabine, do you want to help by the information that you gave me?
Yeah, sure. And if you need somebody to lurk around and looks threatening at somebody, or if you actually need some backup, if you're talking to black market people, they are not all that
Trustworthy.
Let's say some trustworthy, and some might think, oh, a lone person who looks vaguely well-to-do, they might take advantage of that.
At the very least, I think I would want you at another exit to stop them, because we're going to have a conversation.
Okay, I'm good at stopping conversations.
Yeah, okay. So there's another die.
And I take a stress, right?
Yes.
Righty, and so I'm up to 3 dice. Can I take a devil's bargain, or is that
Well, I think I'll offer you a devil's bargain, which is, I think if you're, running around, making some noise in and amongst these people, I'm gonna give you a point of heat.
Okay. What's the heat at right now?
Just one. You're just at 1.
Just one? Why, I'm losing money if I don't do it.
Exactly.
And then it's either devil's bargain or pushing myself, correct?
Correct.
I mark 2 stress to push myself.
Oh, okay. Not taking a devil's bargain. Here I was on the sheet about to mark another level lead. Okay. So 4 dice.
And I'll take the devil's bargain.
Well, you can push
If
or you
everybody's
can you push
if
or
everybody's okay with that.
you can push or take the devil's bargain.
Yes.
Okay.
Is
so
everybody
now,
okay with me taking the devil's bargain? Andish?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
okay. So yeah, so you don't need to make that mark that stress.
All righty. So 4 dice.
4 dice.
There's a 4.
I think that this does take a while. Before you find yourself in a underground location. Essentially, there is a ghost market. They do deal in some literal ghosts, but it's mostly like very black market, unpleasant stuff, off the books things, materials, dangerous things. And you will be directed to a guy named Gull Johannan.
Okay.
And she, I much imagine you've kind of walked through this weird winding market of mist and shadows and, people cackling and grit and grime. And eventually you'll find your way back to this shop. You go in through the beaded curtain and it's very clean inside. Super well organized. Lots of jars on shelves with all kinds of weird colored liquids and things. There's a kind of a desk table with a large, wide brass bowl that has water in it. And there's a tinkling as you come in through the bells. And from the back comes this very tall, very handsome gentleman with long hair, kind of absurdly long to the base of his back, and silken robes with little patterns on them. And he comes out, looks at you. You see him go and wash his hands in the bowl, and he will say, "This feels ominous to me."
It needn't.
You have the air of danger and threat around your persons.
I would prefer to think of it as the air of justice and easing passage. Perhaps you can help us.
Well, pull up a stool and we can talk.
Of course. And so I'll sit.
So look over at you, Stitch. Do you sit? Do you kind of remain standing?
I remain standing at attention. I pretend like I don't really understand what they're talking about. Like I'm just a thing that is standing around.
So how can Gull Johannan be of assistance to...
My name at the moment is not important.
Had some suspicion that was going to be the answer. So,
Are you aware of the strangulations that have been occurring?
could not be. It is spoken of significantly in the city. Those murders have not gone unnoticed. And because they have affected the underclass, the honorable have done little or nothing to help. So to answer your question, yes, I am aware.
I represent one of the families. They are trying to retrieve the body of their loved one, and the honorable have supposedly had it for 3 weeks.
They have not.
How do you know this?
So, shall we speak on background?
Your name will not pass my lips.
Fair enough. There are certain parties who utilize certain components with a spiritual or ritual significance. And I am a person who acquires them. In particular, the eyes and hands of a murder victim, particularly one killed brutally, are utilized by some to make ritual objects, variations of hands of glory or scrying things. The people who have the edge of a talent for magic, but not the imagination. So they utilize these things to get there. And they come to me seeking them because I have a reputation of being able to acquire those things. I have some business ties with some of the resurrection men and other places. I had someone come and ask me about that. And I recalled the recent murder. This is a few weeks ago. And I called on my associates to remove the items from the custody of the honorable. But by the time I got there, the body was already gone. What I have to understand is that the honorable are how do I put this, doubling down on their stupidity. These bodies have been taken. Someone has either broken in or someone has been paid off and they have vanished, which is making the honorable potentially look even worse. And so they have undertaken even more steps to hide what has happened.
I see. It's troubling.
Now you rolled a four.
A 4.
So 4. That is what I can tell you. Your past does not end with me, but with our fine, honorable morgue, I believe.
I see. Given that these individuals who come to you for such items have, as you put it, limited talent,
Mm-hmm.
it would be well in the future for you to turn them away. This is a social call. You seem very refined. I would be most displeased if I had to return here for any visit other than a social one. I would be unhappy about that, as I suspect you would be.
And I think he pauses and he looks at you and he says, you have no idea what you're stepping into, and I will not be dictated by you. I deal in materials. I do not cause unpleasant things to happen to people. And I
So
would
you are not the
very,
one.
no, I am not the one who causes these things. And I would very much not like to have to demonstrate to you my strengths.
As long as we're on this subject, do you happen to know or have any idea who the killer might be?
No, I do not.
Very well. Thank you for your hospitality.
Thank you for your visit, Nameless One and Nameless Two.
I'll smile at that and laugh.
And he will turn and look at you, Stitch, and he will say, if there's anything that you require repair or equipment wise later, be sure to call on me again.
I might check it up on that.
And he will bow to you.
I will nod back.
And I think we got some stuff set up here for next time. Does this feel like a good place for us to kind of stop? We've done some once arounds. We've met some NPCs. We got some things. We'll follow up on this for next time. Let's have everybody mark 2 XP. I think just for things if wherever you want to mark that.
Lol, one question.
Yeah.
You said the name of this old guy that talked to Stitch,
Torgen.
Torgen. Yes, I forgot to note that. I wanted to note that down and I got distracted and I forgot the name. Torgen.
Okay. Just a quick, we got just a minute or two. Just Ondish, anything you want to say stars wise or anything like you're interested in wishes wise that you want to put on the table that you'd like to definitely more follow up on or do?
Fun session. I really enjoyed the evaluation thing with the corporate speak. That was fun. I've been a little bit unfocused. I hope I'm better with that next session. Yeah, we have a lot of threads to pull on. I wish we had more time to play so that we could get into more of it. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Stitch?
Yeah, fun session. I liked all the NPCs meeting them, and I liked all the threats with that was appropriately ominous. I also like I really loved Electra's managerese when asked where she would see herself in 3 years. That was like, oh my god. That was really cool. And yeah, and I always love it, Pocket, when your characters get threatening. Because I feel the next thing that will happen is that something blows up.
Yes, I think that's an inevitability. And Halen?
Well, I have to echo what's being said about that monologue that Electra came up with. That was everything that I have ever hated about performance reviews, 360 reviews, etc. So well done. And then Sabine, thanks so much for coming along. I mean, just looking threatening is always, you do a good job of menacing. So I appreciated that. And also the visit with Sawtooth. That was also interesting. It's like, no, I'm not going to take a drink from you. I'm smarter than that. And Lowell, thanks for giving us opportunities to get in trouble and make trouble pop up and otherwise prepare us for, well, the inevitable of things blowing up, probably.
Absolutely. We'll figure out at least one of these things will escalate into a job for next time. I also do want to make sure next time that we have a chance to do some more pairings up, some PC to PC interactions, and so on. Also, another thank you to Electra for reminding me that particular ability we took was a patron, because that led to a really, really nice scene there. I really enjoyed that. So I'm going to stop the recording.